DRX just looks so good on split. I mean, what maps would Zeta Division even have to win on to beat DRX? Because DRX I thought looked really good on Ascent, Split, their Fracture looked good. Or at least their Fracture looked okay. I don't think their Fracture looked like global world level good, but Icebox is it, I think. Yeah. Does Zeta Division play Bind, though? Oh, we just watched Zeta Division on Bind. They looked poo. But, yeah, DRX, maybe you want to ban that. Watching DRX play against Zeta Division on Bind would be just an outrageous way to kick the tournament off. His Raccoon was so fast through that Viper's Pit. And now Zeta Division are just scrambled. Absolute scrambled eggs. Dude, this is where, okay, these kind of situations are where you need to make the god play as Neth, alright? Let me run this play for you, alright? Let me run this play. So here's the play. These two players get themselves into a really good position, but they don't have Spike. In fact, these three players, right? And you have your Sky separated on the other side. So what you do is, as the Sky, you throw the Spike into this corner, right? And then you run away, and your Omen ults, you know, gets into a safe position with teammates there next to them, and they ult to go and pick up the Spike, and then cancel it, bring it back into heaven, and go for an actual A push or a B push or something. That's what you do. You don't try and get the Spike for this guy. You don't try and clear out the Viper's Pit. You go for the fucking Chad play with the Omen ult. That's what you go for. Big brain shit. Don't you think that's really hard to come up with on the spot? I mean, that's what I just thought of, but partly because I've just watched Marco do something similar. Would never have thought of that beforehand, but it's very easy to think of things when you've already seen them before. It's also quite easy to coordinate because all you do is you just say to your Sky, drop the Spike and ping it, and then as long as your Sky just follows what you do, you grab it. That play was actually amazing as well. I feel like not many people saw that either, but it was so good. The caster literally just said they could do that Omen play. Wait, what? What? You guys live translating the Japanese casters talking about the exact play that I'm talking about? What? I'm telling you, we all just watched Mako do that play, and now our minds have been expanded. Our brains have been expanded. All of the casters around the world just had their brains opened by Mako. Like a lobotomist. Caster hive mind, exactly. Depp seems pretty talented. Oh, you just got rolled. Neth pop-off? Neth pop-off moment? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, dude, Neth has such a potential there. I mean, he already did pull off a clutch Broman play, and then he pulled off the Omega Lolman. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, well, overall, what do we say about that map? I think Zeta Division... What do we say about that map? I think there were a couple of rounds where they actually looked pretty good. They had an attack round that looked pretty decent, but they never demonstrated an ability to deal with the B main. You know, like the defenders taking B main control when Zeta Division were attacking. If you took B main away from them, they just always A split, which that's not a solution. Yeah, they had some decent attack rounds in there. The defensive Viper wall setup is just not good, I don't think. In fact, I'm not really convinced that there is a good defensive Viper setup anymore now that they've nerfed the fuel consumption. But if there is, it's probably still in mid. I don't know. Maybe not worth running the Viper on that map anymore, honestly. But if you're gonna do it, you might as well try and get the most value out of it in mid, I think. A really other relevant map to watch for their game against DRX would be Icebox, right? Because we're trying to theory craft how Zeta Division could get a win. It would have to be they'd literally just DRX have to ban bind, and Zeta Division have to pick Icebox, and they have to win on Icebox as well. DRX have only played it once, and they got blasted 13-3, but also Bazzi was having an unbelievable game. He went 25-7, and it just, watching this game, it felt like Bazzi couldn't miss a shot. And I think under more usual circumstances, there's no good reason why this team shouldn't be competent, at least on Icebox. Not great, you know, maybe they're not going to be fantastic at it, but they should be competent. They're a good team on Breeze, and they don't have any crazy tactical ideas on Breeze. They just keep it very simple, play very basic meta comp, take a lot of duels with RB and Buzz, and they win. So I think they might have just been spooked by losing to God Bazzi in this game. But I don't really see who's going to do that. I mean, is Depp going to do that for them on Icebox? Is that going to happen? So yeah, let's take a look at Icebox, shall we? We need to see whether Zeta Division are good enough on Icebox to beat DRX. Okay, so far, hasn't been inspiring from Zeta Division. Munchkin's just been kind of doing whatever he likes. And Zeta don't have the coordination to be able to scale properly into sites together, which is imperative on A pushes. I don't really get what they're doing, man. I don't get what they're doing. I mean, they all just left B long, and then Depp tried to Ferrari swing without any information on where exactly Munchkin was playing, just guessing that he would be holding that angle. And that's right as they are planning to go into B. Then now they're getting stuck by the lockdown. It just doesn't make sense to me. The IGLing... Well, actually, that's a good point. Does anyone know who IGLs for this team? Because I don't have that in my notes at all. Laz and Crow, I think. Should be Crow. He IGL'd in CS. Okay, well that lends some more credence to the Laz and Crow idea. You know, crows are very smart. They can solve problems, they can use tools, they can generationally remember faces of humans. It makes a lot of sense that Crow is the IGL. They're just feeding. They're just feeding. They can't control angles properly for each other and punish Munchkin. They've died to Munchkin over and over and over. So, once Munchkin gets a pick, Depp's just like, oh, fuck it, I'll dash at their faces. In what world is Munchkin the only player backside there? I mean, maybe against some terrible Japanese teams that they play against, but there's no way if you're playing against a good team that they're not going to be able to punish you for that. And you're so far ahead of the rest of your squad, you're just feeding. And they win this round. Munchkin is so bold. But also, again, look at the spacing problems there. Depp is just 1,000 miles ahead of the rest of his team. But okay, Zeta Division, they don't win all of their attack rounds on this map. They win most of their defense rounds, according to the stats. So. They're just so oblivious. They're so fucking oblivious. I don't get it, man. Their Reyna is fighting a player on 410, and the Sage is just walking forwards. Just no comms, no awareness. That's a spike as well. Anyone got a mic? Anyone got a mic? I don't understand. I really don't understand how the top EMEA teams would be losing to this team. I don't get it. They are so ineffective at dealing with Munchkin. Would the best Chinese teams beat Zeta? I don't think so, but also, that's a genuine question, actually, I think. Because the Chinese teams also have some, like, wild individual players that could do, you know, like a Munchkin kind of performance here. What another weird round. That's a pretty interesting idea, though, look. So they're going for a B push. There's a Viper's Pit, and they just run around the Viper's Pit. I mean, they actually run through it, but they run around it and decide to plant. Again, they haven't actually cleared Snowman at this point. So, and they're also just stomping through the entire time. So it's not like there's any question from Crazy Raccoons about what's going on. But it is kind of a decent idea to go around the Viper's Pit and plant on the other side. I think you want to be a bit more patient with it, a bit quieter with that decision. And I think you probably want to make sure that you have Snowman control before you commit to the plant. But I think the big picture macro idea of let's just take Snowman and plant here seems to make sense to me. But the execution was, again, just super sloppy. Still worked, but it did apply a lot of pressure to Estelle inside of his pit, because he's just surrounded, plant still goes down. This would be a very bad round for Zeta Division to lose. But Crazy Raccoon are not actually taking advantage of their picks to take space at all or get the spike plant down. They're so scared. They're so scared, and they've given Zeta Division all the time they need to get into a good rafters position. Yeah, Crazy Raccoon just threw by not being confident enough. I think I need to. There's 10. Okay, let's watch them win this game. There's 10 minutes before I record. I need to take 5 minutes just decompressing, because watching this VOD has gotten me angry. Wait, how is Laz playing that? Let me go back. So they had Sugar Zero here to try and, you know, break drone and stuff for him. And he has the ability to leave. But then drone saw him, and he decided to swing into the AWP instead of just rendezvous away. Brother, the region cannot be saved. Zeta making top 4 easily, no fucking cap. No Kisler. Wyatt. They wouldn't make top 4 at a APAC LAN. I watched the APAC teams today, and I've watched Zeta as well. I've revised my tier list, and it's actually looking pretty controversial right now. I'm not gonna lie, it's looking pretty controversial. Can we see pauses? Yeah, maybe. I'm actually relatively alright with every team I've watched thus far, apart from Zeta Division. So I originally had Zeta Division just at the bottom by default, and I don't think I shall be changing there. their place in the rankings. Let's pause. Also, the other thing too is that the gap between these tiers is not that big. The S tier is not that much above the A tier, and not even an astounding amount above the B tier. Like, these B tier teams can still take maps away from the S tier teams. I actually think, no, I don't think there's a C tier. I mean, I think it's statistically likely that Zeta Division take a map at this event, but I wouldn't predict it. You have a bad mindset for Zeta? Yeah, because what I saw of them was no better than the last time I watched Japanese Valorant. Anyway, I'm off right now. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.